Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something tonight, especially the ladies in the room. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is erase a man like he never existed. Stop texting him. Stop calling. Don't even check his Instagram stories. Let him scroll through your life and see nothing. Silence is your new language, and absence is your new presence. A man values what he fears losing. Show him he's not the center of your world. That right there is the truth so many women overlook. When you give too much too soon, too freely, some men begin to take your presence for granted. They start thinking you'll always be there, no matter how they treat you. And why wouldn't they? You're always answering, always showing up, always loving hard, even when you're not being loved right in return. But the moment you start pulling that energy back, the moment you start revolving around him, something changes. That man who used to ignore your text now starts checking if you're online. The one who used to brush you off now wonders what's going on with you. Because here's the truth. A man will only start valuing what he feels he might actually lose. He's not afraid of your words. He's afraid of your absence. When he realizes he's no longer the center of your attention, when he sees you've started prioritizing your peace over his drama, that's when it hits him. The shift in your energy becomes louder than any argument. He notices the silence, the distance, and it messes with him. Now he's asking himself questions. Did she move on? Did someone else take my place? Is she finally done with me? That's fear. And that fear is what makes him reconsider everything he once took for granted. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove anything. All you need to do is act like he's not the sun in your sky. Once he sees the light don't rise and set with him anymore, that regret hits harder than any words you could have ever said. That's when he starts realizing just how much you really meant. Silence and absence are louder than words. Distance creates curiosity and regret. You don't need to scream, cry, or explain yourself 100 times for a man to understand your worth. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is disappearing without warning. When you go quiet, it forces him to deal with himself. Your absence becomes a mirror he can't avoid. It starts making noise in places he thought were quiet. That phone that used to light up with your messages is now dry. That social media account that used to watch his stories, gone. That love, that softness, that comfort you used to give him like clockwork, suddenly out of reach. And that's when his mind starts racing. He starts replaying conversations, looking for signs. He wonders where you went, who you're with, if you're missing him at all. He begins to miss the things he thought he didn't need because now there's a gap where your energy used to be. Your silence triggers his imagination. He starts feeling that regret, but he won't always show it right away. Men are slow to process emotional loss, but once it clicks, it hits deep. They'll try to play it cool, but they're checking your page, asking about you, talking to mutual friends. Silence has that effect. It forces him to sit in his own mess without your comfort to clean it up. Distance gives you power. It removes the emotional weight you used to carry for him and drops it on his shoulders. When you're no longer accessible, he has to confront what he lost. The quiet becomes his teacher. And trust me, the lesson he learns in your absence is one he'll never forget. That's when regret starts burning, and that's when he starts wishing he had done things differently. Self-respect is magnetic. When you prioritize yourself, he'll start noticing your worth. The moment you decide that your peace matters more than his mixed signals, everything begins to shift. You're no longer waiting by the phone, no longer second guessing your value based on his lack of consistency. Instead, you're focusing on your growth, your happiness, your purpose, and that glow, that unbothered energy, it becomes impossible to ignore. Men feel it when a woman detaches, when she stops begging to be seen and simply starts living like she never needed him in the first place. That's when he starts remembering all the things you brought to the table, the comfort, the loyalty, the way you understood him like nobody else. But now it's no longer available, and not because you punish him, because you finally realize you deserve better. You start saying no without guilt. You stop explaining yourself. You walk different, talk different, love yourself louder. And when a woman starts loving herself that deeply, it scares a man who thought he had control. He'll start trying to figure out why you're so calm, why you're no longer reacting, why you're moving like you've been healed by the very pain he caused. Because now you've become the woman he can't reach the same way anymore. That's what self-respect does. It builds walls around your heart that can't be broken by charm or apologies. He sees you thriving, not bitter, not broken, just better. And that's when the regret creeps in. That's when he finally realizes the moment you chose yourself was the moment he started losing you for real. And it was the one decision he never expected you to make. The one who walks away strong becomes unforgettable. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't explain herself one last time. When she walks with dignity. She doesn't slam the door. She just closes it gently and never looks back. And that kind of strength, that's what keeps a man up at night. Because most people are used to drama when it ends, fights, tears, long messages, endless conversations that go nowhere. But when you choose peace over closure and silence over chaos, you become the one he can't forget. Not because you made noise, but because you disappeared with your values still intact. A woman who walks away without warning is the one he replays in his head. She didn't lower herself to prove her worth. She didn't get petty. She didn't try to hurt him back. She just removed herself from a situation that no longer deserved her, and that quiet exit echoed louder than any confrontation ever could. You become unforgettable not because you forced him to see your worth, but because you reminded him of it by leaving. Men often don't expect you to truly leave. They think you'll threaten to walk but still stay. But when you actually do it, when you show him that your love is not chained to his disrespect, that's when the panic sets in. That's when regret starts eating at him. He remembers your loyalty, your patience, your support, and now it's all gone. You weren't weak for leaving. You were wise. You realized your value and acted on it. That strength haunts him because deep down, he knows he lost something real, something rare, and something that no other woman is going to offer him again in the same way. Reclaim your identity. Erase the emotional footprint he left behind. When a relationship ends or a man pulls away, it's easy to feel like you've lost a piece of yourself. You gave so much, your love, your energy, your time, that it feels like he took a part of you with him when he left. But the truth is, he didn't take anything that you can't take back. You just have to make the decision to reclaim it. That means removing his voice from your head, his opinions from your choices, his memory from your peace. You are not who you were when you loved him. You are who you become after choosing to heal. Erasing his emotional footprint doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means refusing to let his presence dictate your worth. It's about scrubbing the walls of your mind clean from the doubts he planted and replacing them with the truth about who you are, strong, worthy, complete. It's rewriting the story so that you're no longer the woman who got left, but the woman who found herself again, the one who stopped waiting, the one who stopped apologizing for caring too much, the one who chose to stop bleeding for someone who never deserved her death in the first place. So when you start putting your energy into yourself again, the power shift becomes undeniable. You begin glowing differently, smiling for real, breathing lighter, and whether he admits it or not, he feels it. He senses the disconnect. He notices that his hold on your emotions is gone. You took yourself back, and there's nothing more powerful than a woman who no longer ties her identity to someone else's ability to love her. That's when you become untouchable. That's when regret comes knocking, but now the door is locked. Regret is born when access is denied and energy is withdrawn. A man doesn't usually recognize the value of your presence when it's constant and guaranteed. As long as he knows you'll be there, answering the phone, reacting to his messages, making space for his chaos, he won't feel the weight of what you truly bring to his life. But the moment you pull that energy back, the moment he can no longer reach you the way he used to, that's when the shift begins. Denying him access isn't about playing games. It's about protecting your peace. And when you stop giving him unlimited access to your love, time, and attention, he begins to understand the cost of what he lost. He starts checking in out of nowhere, liking old photos, reaching out through mutual friends. He wants to know where your attention has gone because your energy used to be his comfort zone. Now it's nowhere to be found. And nothing shakes a man more than realizing the woman who once gave her all has gone completely silent. It stings not because of ego, but because now he's forced to live in the absence of what he used to take for granted. That regret doesn't show up with flowers and apologies. It shows up in the silence of his own thoughts, in the late night memories, in the sudden urge to talk when you finally moved on. You became his lesson, not because you stayed and tolerated it, but because you left and never looked back. You remove your energy from a place that no longer honored it.